So let's go over the sprint retrospective, the last piece of the puzzle. Now you're going to notice this is an empty slide. Why is it an empty slide? Well, it all comes down to the fact that these are a little bit open-ended on how they're conducted depending on the team. There are a couple of main goals, but really, in all honesty, it's where the entire sprint team, including the product owner, the scrum master, and the dev team, all come together to create a way to improve for the next sprint. So you have all of your people coming together, and they are all going to be talking about, in a critical way, how do we make ourselves better? Now, with this, there are lots of different ways to create things that work with this. A popular method is a start, stop, continue. And this is a really simple exercise where people just go up and they put things that they want started, things that they want stopped, and things that they like and that we should keep going with. And these are like little sticky notes, or you can do it, for example, you could create some online software. There's definitely some software out there like Miro, M-I-R-O right now, which is a good like collaboration software. But you could create that online. And essentially what you want to do is you want to create things that you want to start, stop, and continue and put them on the board. And that way people will see new ideas, new things. And this also lends an ability to sort of be a little anonymous. We all have our biases. Now, you should trust your team. You should be able to be courageous and tell your team when they're not, dropping the ball and everything. But that's a little bit hard to maintain in your mind. There's always going to be a little bias here and there. So if you can create a process in which we go over all of this stuff anonymously, it just makes it a little easier for people to be more honest and quicker. For example, a stop thing might be the product owner needs to stop giving us cards that aren't fully fleshed out, something like that. And that attacks the product owner a little bit. But if it's anonymous, everyone can talk about that together. They can talk about if they think that's an actual problem, how they could improve that in the future, things like that. And you want to be light in this meeting. You want to be critical, but you don't want to be attacking. There's a very fine line there. You want to be, this is what I think it should be done instead. Maybe we need some training on this, stuff like that. So start, stop, continue is very, very easy way to do that. You can also do just a bunch of questions. Some good questions like what's working, what's not working, what can be improved, what can be added to the process, what can be removed to the process. You want to ask all of these questions. Now, the product owner or the scrum master, mainly the scrum master, this is their meeting. So the scrum master might come in with some graphs to show you like our productivity over time, or maybe they'll have a graph that shows you where a blocker stopped us for a really long time and then we kept going, and if we had just fixed it earlier, we might have been able to save a whole bunch of time. Or maybe they have a justification that maybe we need to get some training here because we have skills here, and here, but the product is mainly focused over here, and we don't have the skills for that. So maybe we need some training. Maybe that's something that needs to happen. So Scrum Master is going to really facilitate this meeting, but this is sort of their meeting. The whole purpose of them is to make the sprint, the scrum, and the team better. So they need to be collecting data for the entire sprint about how they can do that. And they need to come in ready with ideas, plans. They need to come in ready and willing to accept the ideas of the rest of the team, but also they should be the ones that have 60-70% of the stuff ready to make new decisions and new ways to do the next sprint. Once you are done with a sprint retrospective, you are ready to move on. Sprint retrospectives are usually time boxed to 2 hours. This is one of the rules that I've said that should go like maybe into 4 or 5 hours, or especially for longer sprints, just because the entire idea of Agile is about making sure that you are constantly improving and constantly adapting. So if you make this short and people feel rushed and no one can talk about things, then the one time you have to really focus on improvements for the next, 4-week sprint is right here. And so spend the time you need to make sure that this is working. Don't, dilly-dally and start talking about other things. But if it's a productive meeting and it needs to last 5 hours of productivity, then make it 5 hours so that you can improve the best you can. You can come out with a list of improvements and changes for the next sprint, and then you can keep that team improving. Remember that triangle that I made last time. You want that next tier where your team's just a little bit better than last time and able to take on a little bit more. They know a little bit more, and you want that improvement. You don't want a triangle that stops immediately, and you don't want a triangle that starts becoming, I guess, a hexagon or something. Yeah, you don't want it to go the other way. Sprint retrospective, very, very important. Once you're done with the sprint retrospective and you have a list of improvements and changes, you're going to end the sprint. The sprint is now complete, and you get ready for your next sprint. The process goes on and on and on, and that is how the Agile and the Scrum work together to create this beautiful framework.